Hello, once again, everybody. It's your boy, Mr. David YT, and welcome to yet another episode of Real Talk with Mr. David. On today's topic, I will be discussing communication and its importance. You see, this has been on my heart since last year when I noticed a huge flaw in some of the relationships I've been in the past and throughout the year last year. Communication is a basic yet important, very important and somewhat vital skill that we learn as children. Okay, I am pretty sure that just about every single one of us were taught how to communicate. And one of the important parts of communicating is also asking questions. Now, I learned recently that when you ask people questions, the benefits of asking questions, especially if they're good questions, not the kind that would get you in trouble, is that it will help you understand them better. Okay, people do all kinds of things that we don't understand, or they may behave in a certain way, etc., etc. But when you use the power of why, when you ask them why, then you gain understanding which will help you become less judgmental. Okay, because you don't know why people do what they do. You don't know. You can't read their mind. You are not Charles Xavier. In order to understand people, you got to ask them why. It's one of the best skills you could have. It could even be important, maybe even a lifesaver. Like say a friend of yours eats something with nuts in it and suddenly they're throwing up. If you ask why did they get sick from eating that food, it's because they were allergic. So, by doing that, you now have knowledge that your friend cannot eat food with nuts in it. Okay, and that's important. Another great thing about asking questions is if you're in a really close relationship with another person, like a really, really close relationship, if you were to ask questions like, may I give you a kiss? Or may I cuddle with you? There's a good possibility they may say yes. And you know what that means? The quality of your relationship will improve. But had you not asked that question, it would probably take a lot longer for it to improve. Okay, it's all about asking the right questions. Now, back to regular communication. One of the issues I've noticed with people is they don't do enough communicating. They don't do enough talking. And I notice this issue happens a lot on social media. I've seen it happen on Facebook, and I've seen it happen a dozen times on Discord. Okay, literally, the first time I came back to Discord, I was having communication problems with a girl who I was friends with who recently started going to Discord. She had problems with me for, I don't know how I sound or behaved, and she never told me. She kept it hidden and instead would go behind my back and tell one of my friends about how she feels about me, how, bad I am at this and that, instead of confronting me. And see, that's one thing I never understand about people is why is it that they're so intimidated or afraid to communicate directly to me if they have an issue? Am I scary? Am I terrifying? I shouldn't be. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of toxic people throughout my life, so I know for a fact that I ain't scary. No. I mean, people have even had the guts to talk about me behind my back and cause me all kinds of trouble I mean, if they have the guts to do that, how do they not have the guts to communicate with me directly? I ask you. And see, the other reason why communication is important is because it will help you avoid unnecessary drama. Because most people, or some people nowadays, they will take their complaints to somebody else and basically drag them into any personal issues they have with you. And when that happens, all of a sudden you have a dozen people giving you a hard time unnecessarily. Like, if it's private, you keep it private. You don't drag people into it unless it's super serious. Okay, if it's very, very serious, I can understand that. But if it's over a small issue, then it makes no sense. Why would you drag other people who have crap to deal with already into drama that doesn't involve them, that does not concern them? Why? You're literally planting a seed for drama by dragging people into a situation that did not call for their presence. Okay, people need to learn and understand that relationships, what goes on in a relationship, should we remain in a relationship, whether it's friendship, family relationship, romantic relationship, whatever. You don't drag other people into it unless it was a serious issue. And the other issue that I've seen more times than I can count is this annoying silent treatment that a lot of people give. There is so many people I have come across and met who always do this annoying silent treatment on people, including me. Okay, I could ask them a question or say hello, whatever, and they won't say jack. They won't say anything. And I honestly, this is how I personally feel. I hate, and I mean I absolutely hate the silent treatment. Okay, people, almost every person I've ever run into uses the silent treatment. Okay, in a situation that requires them to speak. They have a problem, they don't say nothing. Okay, they see me talking, they don't say nothing. Okay, it's one thing if you're busy, and see, this is the thing I have to understand. When it comes to social media, you don't know what's going on the other side. So I can understand that people are busy or they went AFK, whatever. But sometimes people, they see you, they don't talk though. And I don't know if the rules that apply to real life communication applies to internet communication, but I've been taught that if someone's talking to you or asking you a question and you don't say anything, they're going to think something's wrong with you. Okay, if you ignore people for no reason, they're going to think something is wrong with you. Okay? Or they could be like me and think that, oh, maybe that person didn't see what I had to say because there's so many people talking all at once. And then you find out the hard way that, yeah, they did see what you were saying. They just choose not to say anything. I personally feel that the less communication people have, the worse off you are, okay? More drama and more trouble gets created when people don't use proper communication. Okay, if you don't like something, say something. Okay, if you have a problem with someone, tell them. Okay, say something. Speak up. Okay, God didn't give you a mouth or the ability to communicate just to sit there silently expecting the problem to go away. That's not how reality works. You have the power to change things with the power of your words. Your words have power in them. You can change almost any situation with just your words. Okay, people really need to understand this and stop with the annoying silent treatment. If you're mad at somebody, I understand. Or you're mad at me, I understand. Or you're upset. That's understandable. But sometimes being silent all the time, it gets frustrating, it gets annoying, and it causes problems. Okay, communication is key to an easier, less stressful, and less frustrating life. Okay, because no communication makes things, more frustrating. We need communication. We learn it in school, we learn it as children. We need to bring it back into our lives. Okay, you will find that when you use your communication skills properly, you will open doors or solve problems that you could not do just by being quiet. Okay, being quiet doesn't work on everything. It's not appropriate for every situation. You gotta communicate. You gotta speak up. If someone's boring you, you gotta speak up. If someone is doing something you don't like, you gotta say something. If they're saying a joke that hurts you, you gotta say something. There is a dozen situations where you gotta speak. And communication is definitely important when you're a police officer, or you're in the military, or heck, if you're just a person working a job. Either way, communication is important. It is vital. Okay? And one of the things that I really hate that some people do when they don't communicate is that sometimes they will let you do the wrong thing until it reaches a point where they get pissed off and yell at you for doing something that you've been doing for a long time. It's like, if you didn't like what I was doing, why didn't you just say something? Like, seriously, I feel like that's not fair. Why should people get yelled at for things that you know was happening but didn't say anything about? If something's annoying you and you just sit there and wait for them to stop when they can't read your mind, and you get mad and yell at them, whose fault is it really? Whose fault is it? If you get mad and blow up in someone's face and they're looking at you like, what the heck just happened? It's your fault because you chose not to say anything. You waited too long. You gotta speak up when the situation arises, when something is not right. You gotta say something. Okay, communication is a very important skill, and we need to bring it back. Okay, people need to re-educate themselves and understand the importance of proper communication. And the same goes with asking questions. The world would be a lot less judgmental if people would learn to ask the right questions, to ask why. Okay, the more communication, the more you ask why, the better the quality of life. Okay, that's how I personally feel. And honestly, I don't know what your guys' opinions are on the matter, but that's how I feel about communication. We need it. Now, I'm not a hypocrite. I admit there are some times where I'm too afraid to speak up myself. Okay, I admit it. But other times, you just gotta speak up. Say something. Let them know. Especially on social media, because people don't know whether you're there or not, or if you see them or whatever. No one knows what you're doing. So sometimes when you communicate, it helps them know what you think, how you feel, if you're present or not. Communication and asking the right questions are vital, important skills. Okay, it will change your life and make it better. If you want less stress, less frustrations, and problems to be solved, you gotta talk. You gotta communicate. I don't care how you communicate, just communicate. So anyway, with that said, this concludes my real talk video. I hope you guys learned a thing or two from what I said today. I hope it inspired you. And so with that said, I'm Mr. David YT, and I'll see y'all next time. Shalom, and have a good night.